Well, hello, you better than amazing humans. I hope you guys are having a better than amazing day. I'm going to do two topics tonight. One's a quick one. If today wasn't a better than amazing day, wasn't the best day of your life, if it was not the best, tomorrow will be. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to prove it to you right now. If I gave you, you've heard this before, if I gave you $1 million right now, it would probably be the best day of your life. No? Yes. But what if I gave you the $1 million only on one condition, that tomorrow you don't wake up? Would you take it? Interesting. So we can say that tomorrow is worth more than $1 million. Okay, but what if I give you the $1 million, but in the next 2 weeks you get terminal cancer? Would you take it? No. So your health is worth more than $1 million. But what if I give you $1 million, but your mother dies, your wife or girlfriend dies, your child dies, your best friend dies? Would you take it? No. So we can say relationships are worth more than $1 million. So today, as you go and tuck into bed, or tomorrow when you wake up, if you wake up and you have relationships in your health, you are already rich, wealthy, abundant, and living the best day of your life. Remind yourself that. Now, number two, I want to talk about something that, as I've been writing these two books, one is pretty much complete, the ebook. The other one is going to take some time. It'll probably be March before it moves on to the final stages. But I've been doing some research on relationships and love. Did you know that 66% of people that are in struggling marriages or relationships that go to couples counseling actually break up quicker than the ones who don't? Now, you might say, why is that? There's an interesting perspective by a couples counselor that states it's because of the blueprints, the exact word that he's used. Let me share something with you. Paradigms are something that I've been made aware of over the last many years. I did Bob Proctor's Limitless coaching certification, and Bob Proctor, Think and Grow Rich, one of the most astound individuals to talk about paradigms, and the book Think and Grow Rich. And one of the things that he talks about is how the paradigm is created. It is from the environment in which we were raised, our parents, our family, the people that we surround ourselves with, the information that we give ourselves. Essentially, it's everything that comes inside of us, creates a paradigm. It's a subconscious blueprint, if you will, that we act on, typically in times where we are complacent or unaware, or where we allow emotions to control us. Now, this is a little bit for the men, for my men out there who want to be men, who want to be leaders in their life, to lead themselves so that they may lead others, but more importantly, so they may lead their family, and even deeper, they may lead their loved one, the one that means the most to them. You see, if you've known me for a couple of decades, you know that I haven't always been like this. In my early 20s, I was quite the scrapper. I did a lot of fighting. I allowed my emotions to run wild. I was an angry individual. I usually won arguments through aggression. I usually used aggression to have the illusion that I was in power. I hurt people. I diminished relationships. And it wasn't until I met my first mentor that I started to get coached in my own operation of myself. At about the age of 25, I started the journey. 37 now, so 12 years. And as time goes, I dig deeper and deeper and go quicker and quicker into growth. But one thing that I've realized is, the men that I was raised around, primarily my father, but other men as well, had um, a very challenging time controlling their emotions. And it was the blueprint that I inherited, essentially. Lucky for me, I surrounded myself with good people who were able to help me see that and help me change and give me new information, give me books, and inspire me to become different through their actions by leading me. But there's something that I've recently observed in myself and in others. I've had the amazing opportunity to observe good men, I would call them friends, who have went through situations in the most recent years. Now, I'm not here to say that they didn't get wronged or how much of that was them or the other party, but I have observed the lack of emotional control in those situations. A lot of times they play victim, but most importantly, they react with anger. And there's many studies out there to support that when we become angry, we are up to 30% less intelligent. So, as men, what is it that we truly desire in a relationship? Respect, admiration, love, compassion. We are, after all, an emotional being as well. There's an interesting picture I want to paint for you. Before I do, I want to point something out, something beautiful. The women in our lives are emotional beings, and it's a lovely thing. It gives them the innate ability to be caregivers, to be nurturers, to love, to support in such a beautiful, compassionate way that can make a man melt, to make him feel safe. But it also provides intuition, something that men don't have as deep of an understanding as women do. And with that emotion, there needs to be a duality. I've come to the conclusion that the most important skill set that a man can develop is stoicism. Emotionless at times. The ability to reserve the expression of emotions until after processing thought. I'm going to give you the picture. Imagine a mountain, a rock mountain, very strong, at the edge of a sea. And the waves are the emotional waves of a woman crashing into the rock mountain. As the waves crash into the rock mountain, no matter the size, does it move the mountain? No. The mountain stands firm. And it's not because the mountain doesn't care, but it's because the mountain is strong enough to withhold the emotional waves. Imagine how much benefit us men would have in our relationships if we provided a safe and welcoming environment where the women that we love could let go, could feel safe enough to truly express themselves without wondering if that mountain is going to blow up or manipulate or control. You see, as men, I believe that it's our duty to grow into leaders. We must lead ourselves first, though, before we have permission to lead anybody else. And so for anybody watching this, if you're going through a challenge and you're a man right now and you're having a situation with your loved one or your significant other, I would question, are you leading yourself in that area? I'll give you a skill set, a tool, if you will, for your toolbox. Now, you don't have to believe me, and you probably won't. And most of you probably won't do this, and that's okay, because I will for the rest of my life. And the reason why is because I know it works. I did listen to somebody once. I tried it. And ever since then, it's worked every time, 100% of the time. Anytime something happens in my life that is out of my control, I take responsibility for it. Now you might say, well, that is foolish. Why would you take responsibility for things that you didn't do? I'll tell you why. Because when I do, I write them down. First, I write down my observation, what I see, how I feel, what I think. But then I turn the table and I look from the other side and I say, what did they see? What did they feel? What did they see that I may not have seen? And I write all of that down. Now, why do I need to write it down? I'll tell you why. Do you remember when you were a little child and you had a box full of Lego? What happens when you went digging through the box to find a piece that you knew was there, or maybe you had forgotten? Most times you couldn't find it. But what happened when you dumped the box of Lego on the ground? You found things in that box that you had forgotten about or that you didn't even know was there. The same thing happens when you write stuff down. It's called a mind dump. And as you write, more comes, and as more comes, you write more, and as more comes, all of a sudden, you have a framework in which you can look at subjectively. Now, something important happens in this. First off, you release it from within you. This gives you the power over it to change. Not it, but you. When you have the ability to change, you have the ability to take your power back. Now, by subjectively looking at the information, processing it, and making the adjustments needed, you have now maintained control, respect, compassion, and love. Not only that, a safe place for somebody to come to. I think that this is one of the most beautiful discoveries a man can make in his life, for his partner, for his children, but more importantly for himself. To be the warrior in the garden, so to say. And just imagine, with the suicide rate, the addiction rate, the homeless rate, the majority of those are men. I actually wonder if men thought differently about how they express themselves. Now, it's not that you can't feel and allow yourself to express emotion. We know that that is a must for men, and an area that we have not been taught to have a capability around. But it is about not letting them run wild and having a healthy outlet to do so. I truly believe that there's a shift happening right now. And I believe that it is your duty and my duty as men to lead ourselves, to change the blueprints that we have adopted from our previous generations. Imagine a world like that, where all that was left was love, compassion, intimacy, romance. Imagine the relationship that you could create in your life with that. Imagine how strong of a man you could become when you had a place where you could be safe as well, where you could be vulnerable. I hope that you get to feel that one day. Because when you do, it will anchor everything that I'm saying. And you will do everything in your power to never go back. And with that, you may just find somebody or get somebody back in your life. There's a lot of my friends who are going through separation and divorce right now with children. Imagine what you can show your children. Imagine what you can show your partner. Imagine what you can show yourself. Have a better than amazing night. Don't just watch this for entertainment. I said this last night. If you're watching something with intention to learn, it's called education. If you're watching something to just pass time complacently, that's called entertainment. And entertainment does nothing for you. But education can give you 1 degree shift. You put a protractor down and you draw a 0 line and you draw 1 and you project that out a year and 5 and 10. It's miles apart on the destination. Enjoy. And remember, tomorrow is going to be the best day of your life because you didn't take the $1 million. We'll see you on the next video.